Hello and welcome to Nintendo Pals Podcast, your weekly dive into all things Nintendo with a couple of friends. And the show where every episode is different. This week we are putting together puzzles. I, in the realm of physical, am putting together this Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom pre-order bonus puzzle, while Micah puts together a puzzle from play.nintendo.com. I don't know if you want to pull that up and show it. Wow, look at that. 50 pieces. How many? Fine.
A lot more, I assume.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't say on it. But it's a lot. So let's put together puzzles and talk about our favorite puzzles from the Zelda series. After we do, of course, all of our news and get all that stuff. And Micah, are you ready?
Stuff.
Are you ready to start the episode?
Yep.
Greetings, fellow Nintendo Pals. My name is Andros, and I am one of the hosts of the Nintendo Pals podcast. And I am joined, as I'm joined each and every week, by my fellow Nintendo pal, Micah.
Yep.
And Micah, I gotta ask, how the heck are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. So, before we start into anything here, what's your strategy in putting together a puzzle?
I'm gonna do the edges first.
Yeah, that's me. That's me too. I'm gathering all of the edge pieces here, and then just kind of scooting everything else to the side.
Then I'm gonna put the rest of the puzzle together.
Nice. Well, if you out there listening are listening on your podcast listening app of choice, if you check out our podcast on Spotify or on YouTube, you can actually watch us put this puzzle together. But for the rest of you, you're just going to have to imagine the frustration that we are experiencing as we attempt to put together puzzles. I'm not really a puzzler. I'm not really a puzzle doer. Like a good puzzle putter togetherer. But you know what I am good at? Podcasting. I'm so good at it that you should leave a 5-star review on your listening app of choice. It helps us to take over the world and makes us feel good about ourselves. So if you could, listener, be so kind as to go to your 5-star to your podcast app, scroll down to where you can leave us a 5-star review and leave that 5-star review. Thanks. Micah, you been playing any games lately you want to shout out?
Well, I did finish Tunic.
You finished it, so it was pretty quick.
I did. Yeah, I think I finished in like 18 hours. There's still a couple more secret puzzly things to do.
Okay.
But highly recommend it. Had a great time.
Highly recommend it.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, those don't go together. Those definitely don't go together.
Bam. I've already finished the bottom of my puzzle.
What a hero.
Although now I'm actually starting Outer Wilds. I've heard that is also very good.
And I've heard good things about that as well.
I will maybe buy
Echoes of
Wisdom at that point and play that. By maybe, I mean I definitely will.
Yeah, I'm continuing my playthrough of Echoes of Wisdom, but really haven't made much progress since we last talked. I just haven't
had a lot of time.
Haven't had a lot of time. Yeah. Been a busy guy. But yeah. I'm excited
for that game is the puzzles might be a little easy with the power of the bed.
I mean, it depends on the puzzle, but the bed is pretty OP. Not gonna lie to you. It's pretty great. And they give you that item almost immediately. I don't think they knew what they were doing.
What they need speedruns of, not like only using the bed, but just never using the bed, needs to be a speedrun category.
Never using the bed. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah. There was something else I wanted to talk to you about, but I know what it is. It's in the news. So maybe we should jump into the first segment of our show, Micah, and talk some Nintendo news. Alrighty.
Look at that puzzle.
Oh, it's looking great. You're gonna have time to do another one. Luckily for
Maybe.
you, the website has like a lot of puzzles. 3.
Well, there are 3 difficulties is all I saw. So
Yeah, 3 difficulties, but there's like 10 different puzzles at least.
gross. That's way too many puzzles.
But
Progress has
anywho,
slowed a lot.
anywho, let's talk some news. We got an announcement. Well, first off, let's talk what came first here. There was an announced play test for Nintendo Switch Online, and signups for that were October 10th at 8 a.m. And I think we're only handing out like 10,000 playtest things. Yeah. Not sure what this could possibly be for. And unfortunately, I completely missed the sign up period, even after noticing I needed to do it prior. But luckily, community member Monkey Thunder did get in, so we'll get to hear a little bit about it, I'm sure.
Although he was requested not to say anything, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that's the wording. They're like, we request that you do not speak of such things.
Oh,
So
there is no way that. I mean, Monkey Thunder is an honorable and good guy. I think he may keep that promise, but there's no way anybody else is going
to. Yeah.
Nintendo be kidding themselves if they think that a strongly worded
it's not even that strongly worded
request will stop people from That's funny. So yeah, and there's also another sign up time, but I don't remember when that is. Do you?
I didn't even know there was another sign up time. Some of my puzzle pieces are they're spread. I'm trying to zoom out to see all my pieces, and whenever I zoom out, it reshuffles everything and just puts more of my puzzle pieces off the screen.
Oh, I misread it. Gosh, see, this is my problem. I kept misreading the dates on things here. The recruitment period is from the 10th to the 15th. It's not the 10th and the 15th.
AKA the 10th.
And it filled up
30 seconds.
Yeah, it filled up instantaneously. Which is a bummer. But let's see. So they're going to be performing a test related to a new feature for NSO, and it's for Nintendo Switch Online plus expansion pack members. So what do you think this could be?
Yeah, I have no idea, but I bet it's something that is way less fun to test than a lot of people are hoping for.
I think that it is Smash Bros. For the N64.
That doesn't sound right.
Why? Didn't they announce that was coming? So they want to test the online for that?
I don't know, because they phrase it as like a feature test, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like a feature per se to me, but who knows?
feature game. It's all the same.
A little bit of a difference. Wow.
I have my edge pieces put together. Oh, you did it. Oh,
They
and look
even
at all the
have fireworks.
fireworks. I don't think mine's going to come with that.
I hope not. You finish your puzzle and just explodes into flames.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, so a new feature, voice chat, maybe?
Maybe. Maybe they just use built-in voice chat for things.
And
Like the games usually do themselves.
what's going on here? Okay, I figured it out. I was so certain that this piece had to go on a side here, and it doesn't.
Your puzzle doesn't have borders
What do you mean?
to make it like real obvious what's an edge piece.
It does.
Oh,
I just thought it went on the other side because
I
of
see.
what was.
Yeah,
because of
all
what's-
my pieces
So
are
I have
oriented.
my this is what the puzzle will look like, and so I kind of have some idea here. What we going where? But anyway, Micah, that's the new playtest thing, and I am mucho curious.
Yeah, I'm
What
sad
it
I just
entails.
totally forgot about it. So I also didn't even try to sign up.
Yeah. So next up in the news is what I really wanted to talk to you about.
Oh, well, I better let you read it then.
Nintendo has announced a brand new hardware. That's right, new hardware drop.
And it was something everyone's been asking for.
Oh my gosh. It's the Nintendo Sound Clock Alarmo. Yay.
So how does Alarmo make you feel?
Alarmo makes me feel like it's
It makes you feel like you're getting something you never asked for or wanted.
It makes me feel like, why on Hylia's good green earth does this cost $100?
Have you seen what it does?
Yes, I have. And
well, that should answer your question.
I just gotta say that most of its features could be could be accomplished using a smartphone app.
What? You want your smartphone to be looking at you all night? That's weird, yo.
That's how I feel. Disappointed.
Hey, maybe you should buy it before you start knocking on it so much.
Betrayed. Just kidding. Being so dramatic. Yeah. So, what is Alarmo? For those that maybe are uninitiated, Micah, could you explain what it is?
It's an alarm clock, but it's like a cool alarm clock because it's Nintendo.
It's like a cool alarm clock because it's Nintendo.
Yeah, like play sounds, and then those sounds stop and you actually get up out of bed. So that's kind of cool. They also get more intense, apparently, the longer you go without moving.
I did see that, and was like, what are we talking? What are we talking here, intense wise? Like,
it gets louder, I think.
Like Mario is just like, Mamma Mia! I don't know why my Mario sounded like Toad.
It's just Mario falling in lava sound effects. And louder. Yeah, that. Just louder and louder as time goes on.
That'd be pretty great. Yeah, so this is a thing that exists. And I don't know how to feel about it
The
exactly.
world is better for it. Maybe.
What I want to know is why Nintendo cares so much about people's sleep. Because Pokemon's put out a sleep device. Nintendo's now put out a sleep device. Remember when Pokemon Sleep was first announced and we were like, oh, this is going to be
17 years ago.
awesome. Yeah.
And then it is awesome.
I mean, it's all right, I guess.
How dare you? Pokemon Sleep is a national treasure.
It's a national treasure.
A national treasure.
That's quite the statement. Yeah. So, how do you feel about it? You asked me how I feel.
I think it's awesome, and I will not be buying it for $100.
I think it's too expensive. Who's buying a? Well, and also,
but it's kind of just like a collector's item, just right off the bat. So,
I also have a problem with it in that married people can't use it.
How so?
It is designed for single sleepers only.
Is that what it says?
It straight up says that.
Well, let's face it. How many Nintendo fans are married?
That's exactly what I said because my brother was telling me about it, and I was like, Nintendo knows their fan base and that they're all sad, lonely people. Oh, you put another one together? Good for you. That's not true, by the way.
Of the Legend of Zelda. It's not great.
No. The Nintendo fans are sad and lonely.
Only kind of true.
Oops. As my wife comes off screen to tell me goodbye, heading somewhere. Yeah, they're not sad and lonely. I am a Nintendo fan. Yeah, speak for myself. I mean, I know lots of fans of Nintendo that are. It's a bit of a bummer that it is only designed for single sleep use. I wonder if you position it in such a way that it'll still work anyways. I don't know.
You position it between you and your spouse so it can only see you.
That's just so dumb. But also, what this alarm clock does is you can cycle between different games, and more games will be coming. Yeah. DLC for Alarmo. Whoa. I'm flustered right now. I'm flustered trying to put this puzzle together. You can switch between those different games, and the song that plays when you wake up is different. And then as you move, sound effects go off. So the example they showed was Mario Odyssey, and it's playing the New Donk City theme, and they're rolling over, and it's like ba-ding, ba-ding, ba-ding. And I'm just like, this would make me want to hurt something. I would be so upset to wake up and it's like ba-ding, ba-ding, ba-ding.
Every time you're moving, I feel like that would just teach you to lay extra still.
Is that the point of this thing?
But then the other sound effects get more and more intense, apparently, so that wouldn't work. But my favorite was the Splatoon sound effects. It makes the sound effects of you're shooting someone, and then when you moving up and get up, it does the splatting sound. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, that. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it, man. I don't know how I feel about the whole thing.
I think it's great. And I'm happy that some people will really enjoy it.
That some people will really enjoy it. That's a good attitude to have. I just really wanted to talk to you about that because I thought that was funny. Have you seen any memes about it?
No, but I imagine there's a bunch.
Oh man, there's one great one where it wakes up with Breath of the Wild music, and
Oh,
then
it's the Guardian.
the Guardian theme
Sass?
kicks in.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, there's some good ones. I probably will not be picking this up. I feel like it is not a good use of $100.
Yeah, fair enough.
Who's in the market for an alarm clock?
Collector enthusiasts.
Yeah, is that like? But that's the thing. It's like that's it for this. I just don't feel like anybody's like, you know what? I really need an alarm clock that plays Nintendo music. It's just like doesn't make any sense as a product. But when has Nintendo ever made sense? They like to do crazy things. They're a bunch of crazy guys over there.
Yeah, and it usually works for them. So
Yeah,
who are we to judge?
We can't judge. Obviously, we'll never know.
What?
I don't know. I can't tell if I'm got the right piece here or not.
I'm sure you're doing great.
It seems so off.
My puzzle pieces are they're always rotated the right way, but there's also like 3 different types of pieces. They all look the same. Their shape is all the same. I don't know how they managed to make a full puzzle like this.
Okay. These are not fitting together like I want. Or are they? It's like so hard to tell. I need like a direct light over here. Anywho, Micah, let's talk next news item.
That's it. That's all the news.
Not true.
Is that not true? Did you start at the bottom and you were working your way up?
Yeah, I worked my way in a weird order there. For sure.
Oh yeah, look at that. We got another Splatfest apparently happening.
What? Wasn't the last one the last?
That's what I seem to remember hearing. Well, now I am very confused. Maybe these were ones they already did and I've just forgotten.
Wizard Knight Ninja? I don't
Yeah,
remember that. I
what
feel
would
like.
What would you be in a fantasy world?
What are you
Ninja
going to
Knight
pick for this one?
That's a good question. I do not know yet. I don't feel too strongly about it, so probably whatever people I play with want to be.
Always a good way to go about it. This puzzle's much bigger than I thought.
Yeah, there's a lot of pieces there. I might actually be like secretly really good at puzzles.
I might be secretly really bad at puzzles.
Is that much of a secret? Didn't you mention you're like not a puzzle person?
Yes. Gosh dang it. These pieces look like they should fit here, but they don't.
I've had to move on to not Zelda puzzles. This is going to be our longest episode ever, just because we're going so slow.
Just because
of the puzzles.
Putting together puzzles. Anywho, I think I want to go with Wizard because green. I like green. All of these are good options.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking Knight because orange is kind of the one I'm leaning for.
Yes.
But who knows?
We are simple creatures. It's like, yeah, we'll go with that one. Oh my goodness. I am struggling so much. I like don't want to do this anymore. I'm getting angry. I'm getting upset.
They need screen share, but for like people. So I could I could control you to do the puzzle.
Oh man. I think there's like an episode of Black Mirror where that happens. Actually,
Oh yeah, I bet.
Sounds super familiar. Okay, well, what else we got in the news?
Nothing. This time I
Yeah.
think I'm not lying.
That's it. We had a new trailer for Brothership.
Oh yeah. Haven't looked at that yet.
And with that, I think we can jump out of the news. We don't have anything to talk about in the rumor mill this week, other than, do you remember that we had the rumor for a new patent?
Oh yeah, I forgot I was going to mention that. That being Alarmo sounds like.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. So there you have it. Alarmo was the new Nintendo hardware.
Was the Nemo.
Alarmo was his name-o. Alarmoa. So with that, Micah, what do you say we jump to? What segment do we usually do next? I kind of have been flip-flopping here. Suggest a segment, or
that sounds right.
Let's go to the secret segment.
So secretive sounding. Oh wait a second, this puzzle doesn't have like really easy borders.
Alrighty. The villains of Nintendo. What makes a great antagonist? Do a deep dive into Nintendo's villains like Bowser, Ganon, and Ridley. What makes these characters memorable, and how do they contribute to their respective franchises? And then, are there any underappreciated villains in the Nintendo universe? I would say,
what does make a good villain?
What does make a good villain? Ganondorf is one of my favorite villain characters, but I don't think he really is that complex. There are,
except for Wind Waker, of course.
Yeah. There are different types of villains. I remember watching a video essay talking about like villain archetypes.
Oh, yeah.
That talked about villains that are relatable and
the ones that are the hero of their own story, kind of a thing.
Yeah, the ones where it's like you can see why they're doing what they're doing. And then there are ones that are just forces of evil.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are ones that are chaotic forces of evil.
Mm-hmm.
That are essentially they're not really a person so much as a force. And the example they used in that one was like the Joker. Is not really, I mean, he's a person, but he doesn't really serve any purpose outside of being a villain. And he's just like a force of chaos, and he's just evil, an incarnate evil. And I'd say Ganondorf falls into that sort of archetype where he doesn't really have.
He's got kind of his own, depending on the game, a little bit. Some games more than others, but like Breath of the Wild, especially, he's like a force of evil.
He just straight up is. That's all he is. It's just devolved into an evil monster. But then you can like see the cold, calculating villain type of Ganondorf, and you see that in kind of like Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, and Tears of the Kingdom. But even in those, it's
Twilight. Wait, not Twilight Princess. No, yeah, I don't remember the storyline too much of Twilight Princess, where I mean, you kind of think Xant's the big bad, but you're like, wait, he's just getting played by Ganondorf. He's got a little bit of calculating going there, but he's also got the I've been stabbed and I'm going to pull it out of my body and stab you with it rage mentality at the same time. So
Yeah, yeah, he wasn't really. Yeah, that one
I
he
don't
was
remember how
more
much
like
he like
a
planned
evil
things.
force. Yeah, I don't know.
It's yeah, it's been so long I don't really remember that storyline.
Well, he kind of just shows up at the end, the back half,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Hey, Zant, actually, I'm the villain." Where Zant was like, Zant was an interesting villain character because he's not just a force of evil. He's doing what he wants to do for like political gain, and basically wanted to be the ruler of Twilight. And
Just kind of Ganondorf like though.
yeah, but he turned out to be more of like a whiny advisor character than when they first show him in the game, he is so intimidating. And then when you fight him, you're like, oh,
This guy's a weirdo.
this guy's kinda not that intimidating, actually. But anywho, that's Ganondorf. I think Ganondorf most of the time just falls under this like evil villain, force of evil. His
Yeah.
motivation is I want to be evil.
His power. Well, I mean, he just wants to be powerful, and any means necessary. It's kind of how I see it
That's
in a
that's
lot of the games.
that's our guy. That's our Ganondorf. That is right. That piece goes there. Bowser. Bowser's an
He's
interesting one.
chaotic evil. Is he even that evil? I mean, he is, but is he?
But is he? I don't know. I don't know, Micah. That's what we need to.
He's got the same energy as the Ice King from Adventure Time.
Yeah. Yeah. I can agree with that wholeheartedly. He is not
I don't know if
evil.
I say evil, very selfish in most compared to just like straight evil.
Yeah. Very selfish, but also like a dad. And like will have like really good like father moments and you're like, "What? Why'd they do this?" He doesn't really have depth, but he's just the de facto villain for Mario. There are much more intimidating and terrifying villains in the Mario universe.
Yeah.
So that when they do fall onto like, oh yeah, Bowser's the big bad, you're just like, oh, this guy again, this clown. he's not that intimidating.
Yeah, you know who's more intimidating? King Boo.
Yeah, King Boo is way scarier than Bowser. That's 100%. 100%. Okay.
That was a good moment in Luigi's Mansion,
Which Luigi's Mansion?
the original Luigi's Mansion. Figured that's been long enough. I could kind of spoil it.
I don't know what you're spoiling. That when he shows up?
Yeah, you're like, oh, it's Bowser. That's scary. But it's like, wait, that's Bowser being possessed by King Boo, and his head falls off sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that fight is creepy. He's creepy in that fight. Ridley. Ridley's a villain. I'm not gonna lie, I don't quite understand his backstory because he's
I
always
don't
just
all that much either. Never really
he,
talks.
yeah, he's always just portrayed as like I'm a big scary monster. He doesn't talk. He's just a big
Yeah, he's
scary
like
horrible
he's a big
monster.
scary monster, but
But
he's
somehow
also
he's
like the leader of the space pirates.
yeah. How is he the leader of the space pirates? I
They
don't know.
also never talk though, so I don't know.
Yeah, he's
I
one
can be
that's
honest. I'm a big fan of Metroid, and I have no idea. I'm not quite sure how.
how does it all work?
Yeah.
Is this right? Is this right? What am I doing here? I'm getting closer on my puzzle, by the
Oh, there
way.
we go. Oh, nice. I'm on my like fifth puzzle, but my puzzles are real small.
So I always think Ridley's like a cool villain, but I feel like he's not. I don't really treat him like he's not on the same level as like Ganondorf or Bowser in a villain. He's just more of like a monster boss battle.
Kind of.
That
I mean,
always comes back somehow.
He does lead the space pirates, so somehow,
And he keeps not dying. He's
yeah, for real.
he's truly the master of his craft of survival. Um what other villains can we talk about here? Any underrated villains? That's the question. Also, this week's surprise segment came from Muggles Moo. If you out there listening want to leave us a surprise segment, join up our Discord. We're always looking for more fun new segments.
Hmm. Maybe it's because I'm also doing a puzzle, but I can't think of like any other villains at all.
Got Andros.
Yeah, Andros is lame. What a lame villain. The lamest.
I mean, that's a little hurtful.
Speaking of, doesn't Andros also never die?
Yeah, I feel like he comes back every other game or so. I'm like, oh, it's me.
He's back. What was that even originally for? I don't know what that quote's from.
Your guess is
I think it's like a wrestling thing or something.
Oh man,
Don't you love puzzles?
No.
Puzzles just bring you so much joy and relaxation.
Some people maybe, but
Wow, this is wildly relaxing, actually. This might be the most relaxed I've ever been.
oh, okay, we're making progress here. Like I'm making progress. Oh,
It's
underrated villains. Let's go through series here.
well, I mean, Windbreaker Gandorf is underrated, of course.
I don't think he's underrated at all. People love that Ganondorf.
Yeah, and he's still underrated.
That I don't think that word means what you think it means.
People's ratings of him still aren't as high as they should be.
Underrated, I feel like means not enough people have seen it. Like there's not enough ratings of it. Not it's rated too low.
I don't know. We may never know the answer to that question.
What am I? Wait.
And just looking at the villains.
No, never mind. Aha! It goes over here. Oh, oh, it's Zelda's ear. I was like, what is this weird fleshy thing?
Oh, look at that. See, this one says underrated King Boo, which we already mentioned.
Yeah, King Boo's probably an underrated villain, I'd say.
This says Bowser is underrated.
No,
He's
absolutely
a
not.
he's a little questionable. Ridley. Ooh, Ravenbeak. I don't think that's super true. I feel like everyone loves him for a good reason. Ganon? What in the world? This is a terrible list. No offense. Oh, never mind. This is just top 10, not top 10 underrated. That makes a lot more sense now.
King K. Rool.
Is he underrated?
I don't think he's underrated. Definitely underused. They don't use him enough in the new ones. A lot of people here are saying that Ganondorf is underutilized, which I would agree with. In most games, he's not in it enough.
Yeah, fair enough, actually. Because he's so good. And this is a Shadow Queen from Paper Mario. I feel like
I like
boss,
that.
I guess, but it's I don't know. It's like a one-off in the game for like a single battle, essentially. So I don't know.
About Wart
From Super Mario 2.
Yeah.
He's a big frog or toad, probably.
Yeah, people love Wart.
I hate that guy.
There's like the Kirby villain.
I mean,
Marks.
King DDD. I could kind of see that.
Underrated was because like he's another Bowser type where it's like sometimes he's not even really a villain.
Yeah.
He just kind of shows up and does stuff. I think overhyped villain that is underutilized.
Waluigi. Overhyped.
Giovanni from Team Rocket.
Yeah, he hasn't really been like used
He's
in a
not
long
really-
time. I mean, Pokemon Go, I guess.
Yeah, they do use him in Pokemon Go somewhat frequently. But also, he's just kind of lame. He's just kind of like a dude. Like a mob boss dude. He's pretty stereotypical.
That's what he is.
Villain. And he doesn't really have any motivation other than like
ruling the world, power, money.
Yeah, power and money. Where like a lot of Pokemon villains have some like grandiose,
over the top.
Like, oh, I'm gonna remake the world in my own image. And it's like,
and you're like, what?
Why? Meanwhile, Giovanni over here, like, I'm gonna steal some money. I'm a mob boss, see?
Yeah, I feel like I can't think of any underrated, really Nintendo villains. I think there's got to be some Kirby ones, some more obscure ones. I feel like for them to be like underrated, they have to be like kind of used at least a little bit, so you know what they're like.
Yeah,
a lot of like the one-off boss battles in a game, like you don't really interact with them enough to like them, I guess.
Yeah.
Stitches the Yoshi? Who's that?
Stitches the Yoshi? What?
It's an old doll that Baby Mario had, but it came alive with Kamek's magic, so now it's one of Kamek's minions.
Huh.
But it's also Yoshi's friend without knowing that Yoshi is also friends with Mario and Baby Mario. What? It's funny.
Complicated relationship for that guy. Like, I'm friends with Yoshi, but I absolutely despise Mario. He's the worst.
Yeah, that guy sucks.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's a pretty good coverage on Nintendo villains. What makes a good villain? Well, here's
Depends
my
what you
question to
want
you.
from the villain.
Yeah. What makes a good villain to you in general? Like not just Nintendo, but just in like all forms of media. Because can I tell you some things I'm a little sick of? I'm a little sick of the twist surprise. This guy was a villain the whole time. Trope. I think it's either so obvious that it's like not really a twist, or it's so random that I feel like they're just doing it for the shock value and not for the not twist villains are not as easy to do and they are so frequently used in media, you know?
Well, how do you feel about the trope of the good guy main character's best friend slowly becomes a villain?
I can't say I'm crazy about it.
Oh, I hate that one. That one's the worst.
Oh, okay.
They're like, "Oh, my brother, I love you," and then like 3 days later, they're like, "I'm gonna kill you," and you're like, "How did you go from that to this so fast?" I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. It's dumb.
It is.
But there was one movie I watched that was really good because they played it up like that was what was happening, but they were actually double crossing the bad guys.
Oh,
I was like, hey,
interesting.
you know what? I kind of like that. That's pretty good. I don't even remember the name of the movie, so I couldn't spoil it, even if I wanted to.
Yeah. My favorite villain twist moment was in The Way of Kings. Because the whole book, I think his name's Tariel Sadius.
Oh yeah, I don't remember his first name. I mean, what a spoiler though.
What a spoiler, though.
Yeah.
Well, spoilers for The Way of Kings. But the reason that that villain works so good for me is that Sadius was shown to be a villainous jerk the entire book, and then turns around and you're like, oh, he was actually being good the whole time. And then pulls the worst betrayal of any character in anything I've ever seen.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Plus, and like
After
they always talk about in the past, they were such good allies and things as well. And they're like, oh, we just lost his way, but I'm bringing him back around. It'll happen.
and then he
It's like
comes back and then he comes back around and I totally bought it. I was like, oh, this makes sense because he had the golden opportunity to falsely accuse the main character, one of the main characters, and
playing the long game.
yeah, he was playing the long game hardcore. He had the greatest opportunity to,
Which I think they actually explained why he didn't do that way at some point, slightly. But yes, that one was pretty good.
yeah, that's one of my favorite twist villains because they did the double twist. And sometimes that doesn't work. They did that in freaking Indiana Jones, The Crystal Skull, but that whole movie sucks. He's like,
My
"Oh, I'm
favorite,
actually a good guy." And he's like, "Oh, I
my
was just
favorite,
lying."
my favorite twist is the Hans from Frozen. I feel like just because my dad's reaction, he like was like half paying attention to the movie the whole time, and then he was like watching when that happens, and he was just like, "Whoa, like that's cold." He's just like, "Wow, I can't believe that." What?
That's one that doesn't make sense. That's one of those
If,
ones I was talking about where
if only someone loved you. So what? That's the harshest thing anyone has ever said in a Disney movie.
yeah, that's one of the ones where it made there was no sense to it at all. It
Yeah,
didn't
but I
make
mean,
any sense.
they explained it afterwards why it made sense.
Did they?
Yeah, they explained his reasonings.
his reasonings were like he wanted the kingdom.
Yeah, he was like ninth in line or something in his kingdom or something.
Yeah, but then he like but then he was like doing all these nice things. And you could be like, yeah, he was lying that whole time. There was
Yeah, name
no
one.
Yeah, there was no hint that he was evil other than another dude showed up. Chris
Yeah,
Kristoff.
and you're like, wait a second.
You're like, wait, this
Well,
is
I just like how it played on the trope of like classic Disney movies where they meet and fall in love in like one day and then get married like 2 days later.
Yeah.
And you're like, huh. Now that I'm a little older, it's like that's questionable behavior. And they're
Yep.
like, you know what? We agree. That actually is very questionable behavior.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that plot twist. I feel like it wasn't really a twist, but I do enjoy
The shock factor was
the
pretty good
shock
for that.
factor. Yeah.
And his line was so good. If only someone loved you. What? That's such a rude thing to say to someone.
Goodness. Like this puzzle's too big. My brain is too small.
But you're like a fifth of the way done. I feel like it's like easier at some point for a while, and then it gets kind of hard once you like feel the edges, and then it starts getting easier again, and then it just gets hard again. It has its waves.
I feel
Ebbs
the waves.
What's the opposite of an ebb?
Flow.
Flow,
Ebbs
is
and
it flow? Yeah, it's got those things.
Ebbs and it flows.
It waxes and it wanes. Wax and wane.
Yeah. I don't know. What makes a good villain to me, I'm okay.
It depends on what you're going for.
I'm okay with it just being like them just being I'm the evil bad guy. Not everybody needs to be an understandable villain. I feel like that's too common now. It's like,
or at least not necessarily relatable, but I would like there to be some sort of reasoning other than, oh, I'm evil. Generally. Like what do you even get out of this evilness you're doing? If you're not really getting anything out of it, then why? I mean, sometimes that is a legit reason, but I feel like sometimes there are villains that like don't even seem to enjoy what they're doing, and you're like aren't getting anything out of it, and you're like, why? Of course, I say that, but I can't really think of any off the top of my head, so maybe I'm imagining things.
No, I know what you're talking about. I'm trying to think of a good example here. The villain, you're like, why are you doing this thing?
Doofenshmirtz.
New Darth Vader. What's his name?
Kylo Ren.
Yeah, Kylo Ren seems like he's not enjoying himself being a villain half the time.
No, in fact, he doesn't.
Most of the villains in the newest Star Wars trilogy don't really seem like they want to be villains.
Because villainy doesn't pay. It's teaching valuable life lessons.
But that was also probably just issues with the writing in general being kind of all over the place.
Yeah, I feel like that, especially between movies, was not very cohesive.
No. Darth Vader was a pretty good villain. I like that he shows up and he's just evil force incarnate, like everybody's just like, oh yeah, that's the evil bad guy. But then through like as the trilogy progresses, you start to go like, oh, wait a second. He's like heavily tied to the main character. And then by the last movie, it's like he's redeemed. Kind of. The movie plays it. I don't redeem Darth Vader. I mean, he did do a lot of horrible things.
But then he threw an old man down a big hole, so
So all is
redemption.
forgiven. All is forgiven. You get to be a Jedi ghost now, just like everybody else.
Well, not everyone, just like only 4 of the really good guys.
And he's one of those guys. He gets to be there with Obi-Wan
Yeah, it
Kenobi.
was a little quick, his redemption. I mean, especially like with like the more extended knowledge that's come out about like Darth Vader and like all the horrible things he's done for a really long
Yeah.
time.
Yep.
Because I mean, like in the movies, I guess they don't really show him doing too many crazy bad things besides blowing up an entire planet, of course.
But was that his fault?
Yes.
I mean, yes, he was there. He was complacent.
Did he not actually give the order? I don't remember.
No, Governor Tarkin was the one who gave that order, and he was assigned to help Governor Tarkin. He wasn't even like in charge on the base. Governor Tarkin was.
Yeah, see,
He actually was like,
guy.
this space station is nothing compared to the power of the Force, and that's where that guy is like, don't try and scare us, and then he chokes that guy out. Like,
yeah, but can he force choke a planet? I don't think so. I mean,
he did stop a whole spaceship with the Force in the Obi-Wan show.
yeah, just one, and then he crushed it, and then I was like, oh no, there's a second one. I guess I'll just watch it go.
Yeah, that word was stupid.
I was like, is he tired? Did he use up all his force?
Oh yeah, did you not see his energy meter in the top
Yeah,
corner
in the
going
corner.
down? Oh man. So
I feel like
what-
they could have played that a little better. Like as he's crushing the first one, it starts flying away and then like real fast or something. But it's like I feel like he crushes it. He's like, I did it. I stopped them. And then the other one rises up, and you're like, wait a second. You're supposed to be leaving already. You waited too long.
Yeah, that whole. So a villain, and that's a good example of like he's a good villain, but then has been used in other media in like not as good of ways.
I
And
feel
so
like maybe sometimes he's just a little too nonchalant. He's too used to being the big bad and overpowering everyone so easy that he's just kind of going through the motions, which allows him to get surprised every once in a while.
yeah, I think the like in general, villains are are what you want from a villain. Like we're coming back to our original question, like what makes a good villain? It depends on the story. It entirely depends on the story and how they fit into the story. Because a villain by themselves doesn't work. You know, they need to have the motivations, the world building around them and the hero character to make them a good villain. And for some reason that made me think of Sephiroth. I mean, he had a lot of world building and has like a very like interesting relationship with Cloud, the main character, and like the dynamic there makes them a really good villain hero combo. Whereas like Sephiroth just by himself,
He's got a long sword. That's kind of
like
cool.
he's just what makes Sephiroth a good villain is the world that he is in and his role in that. That's my 2 cents. And I think that's all we've got for the secret segment this week. So let's jump to the next segment, and that is last week we asked you. All right, Micah, this was a direct result from our conversation in last episode. Last week we asked you, what's your favorite sword in video games?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I forgot.
And we got a lot of answers actually. Okay.
We have some good variety here.
So, where should we start? You want to go first?
Right at the top. Yes. Spider Shan says Master Sword with the Monado as my runner-up. For those non-Xenoblade fans, that's from Xenoblade.
Thank you for the clarification there. You really are doing a service to everybody.
I know. Well, not everyone, just the non-Xenoblade fans.
Just the non-Xenoblade fans. This should be right here. I don't understand. I don't understand what I've done wrong. Like
How's that puzzle going
I'm
for you?
struggling. I'm struggling so hard. We have DatFast who posted a picture of the Monado. And we talked about this last week. The Monado is pretty OP. It's like one of the legendary swords of Xenotopia. And yeah, it can let you see into the future.
Yeah, something like that. I don't actually know how it works. I know it's something time-based.
something time-based something. Yeah, that sounds right.
Snoopy says the Four Sword.
That's a good answer.
Four Swords.
That's actually a really solid answer there. Four Swords sword actually splits Link into 4 links.
It's definitely helping a fight for sure.
What is the Four Sword in relation to the Master Sword?
It's a good question.
The Four Sword the Master Sword? No, they're different. They're different. When are we gonna get that back?
Because I was like, I don't think you fight Ganondorf in that game, right? Some other weird vacuum creature.
Or Vadi wizard. Another evil wizard. You know, all them evil wizards be.
Why do all the wizards be evil in Zelda? Are there any non-evil wizards? I mean, Zelda's kind of like a wizard, right? Maybe those pieces don't go there.
They do. It fit. I just had to look at it differently. Oh my gosh.
Nice.
I'm struggling so hard. Okay, give us our next one, Micah. Oh, no.
What do you mean?
Snoopy said the Four Sword. My turn. Yeah. Presto says Monado wins, but since somebody already said it, let's go with Zacian. The sword dog. I don't want
to pronounce that one. I couldn't remember.
The sword dog. It's the one that is
the dog
from Pokemon Sword. I'm so good at this. Like, it's so hard to tell if that's right.
Speaking of Pokemon, Chrono Magi says Aegislash. That sword shield Pokemon.
It's a good answer.
That is good. I forgot how many cool swords there are in games.
Aegislash.
I don't think that's quite how it's pronounced.
I'm getting worked up over this puzzle. So I wanted to finish it before the end of the episode, and I feel like I am not getting there.
You're trying your best. That's all that really matters. I mean, you have the edges, like pretty good portion done, looks like.
Dude, remind me to talk to you about trying your best. That's all that really matters for the Pals Plus. Okay?
You're a big fan of how supportive I am, right?
No. Just someone used a very similar line, and it was very funny. You have to. It's a teaser for Pals Plus. Okay, who is next? It's Octorock, and he put in. What is the sword's name? It's the sword from
Sword.
Seven Stars Mario RPG. It's the
Exor?
big sword, Exor. And yeah,
that is good.
He's just a big sword boss. So there you go. Yeah, there's a lot of cool swords. What's the next one?
Spider-Shan is also gives out a special shout out to Erdrick's sword from Dragon Quest. It is pretty cool looking.
All these pieces, it's coming together.
And also says, I can't believe no one's mentioned Cloud's Buster Sword, which is what I said in the episode. It was the only other fancy sword I could think of. And I'm pretty sure that's because you mentioned Sephiroth's sword before.
Oh, I figured this out. This is Zelda's head.
It's all coming together.
Oh yeah. It's all coming together. Or is it? Hey, I found a piece of Zelda's mouth. Zelda's mouth is just this piece here, just a circle on it. Yeah, it's true. Nobody mentioned the Buster Sword, but that sword doesn't have any magical properties or anything. It's just a big sword.
Yeah, it's a big honking sword.
Is it unique? Or is it like a weapon that other people
uniquely
have?
Large?
Next up, an answer from Fedorable Will, who says the Master Sword, specifically Fi. My first experience of Skyward Sword was on Switch when she was made a lot more tolerable. So I had good experiences with her. Runner-up would be the Splatana in Splatoon 3. The Splatana is pretty good. That's a cool.
I hate the Splatana. No offense.
Yeah, but it's cool looking.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, I guess. Didn't realize Will was one of those people.
What does that mean? What do you mean by that?
You just have to play, I guess.
Okay, well, there you go. That's it for answers we got to that question. What did you send?
Oh, I just sent you for preparation because I figured we were going to then give our own swords.
No, we gave our swords last time.
I don't remember doing that. What did I say?
You said probably the Master Sword, and I said the Master Sword as well.
But that's boring, and other people have already said that.
Okay.
So I'm changing mine to the Crucible from Doom Eternal.
From Doom? Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I'm going to
put that in.
What sword will I pick that isn't the Master Sword? I mean, I don't know. Being put on the spot now, and I'm not sure.
How does it feel?
Frustrating when I'm struggling so much with this puzzle.
This is how I feel all the time because I never prepare things.
That's your own fault.
Well, you should have known that this would happen.
I should have.
I knew this would happen.
Well,
I actually prepared.
I'm kind of tempted to say like the beam sword from Smash
Smash
Bros.
Bros.
Yeah,
What game's that actually from though? Because that's from
I,
something, isn't it?
it's got to be Star Fox, right?
That's what my first instinct is, but I can't think of a single time when that's used in Star Fox.
I'm looking it up
Maybe it
here on the
was
side.
made just for the game.
The beam sword is Super Smash Bros. Is based on the lightsaber from Star Wars. Okay. Well,
Oh, that's it?
the beam sword in Super Smash Bros. Is similar.
It is similar to a lightsaber.
Game origin?
Maybe they're just like, hey, lightsabers are cool.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yep.
That's all it is. It is straight up just like lightsabers are cool, and we want a sword that's like a lightsaber.
I can respect that.
I'm down for it. When they make the Smash Bros. Movie, there better be a beam sword in it and a fan. You just hit someone with a fan.
Yeah, I miss the old school fan where you just spam the button as fast as you can. They like can't do anything for a while.
Yep. Alrighty. Well, there you have it, folks. That's
So essentially, you're saying a lightsaber.
oh yeah. Yep. Lightsabers are cool. I'm okay with that being my answer. It's a cop out answer, yes.
But fair enough. They are cool.
But they are cool. What am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? Why? This doesn't fit here either. I'm struggling so much. The struggle is so real. Okay. What's our next segment? Oh,
It's the PAL topic.
it's time for the PAL topic. Today's PAL topic is puzzles. Trying so through the PAL.
You know you love them Zelda puzzles.
Oh, I do. I do love me a good Zelda puzzle.
Maybe it's a little unfair, but I got tired after like the sixth puzzle and I just stopped doing them.
We're gonna have to
You're
do
doing
this.
so good.
We're gonna have to do this when we do another in-person episode. We'll just get a huge one, like one that's just like so massive.
Just don't overestimate our puzzling abilities.
Oh, I assure you, I'm not.
500 is way too big.
Oh, man, this sucks. Micah, what's our pal topic today?
You're going to be going over our favorite Legend of Zelda puzzles, which I remember so many so clearly.
Do you?
No. Whoa. My earbud just kind of broke.
It's punishment for being so aggressive with your no. No. Yeah, we're going over top 5 favorite puzzles in Zelda games. Do you want to start?
Sure. Maybe my ear just broke. Maybe that's what happened.
Maybe your ear popped?
Let us see. My first, most favoritist almost one is Jabu Jabu, giving him that fish.
That's in my honorable mentions. And you put that in there specifically to spite me, right?
A little bit.
Yeah, I put that in my honorable mentions just because I hated that puzzle, but it is iconic.
Yeah. It is iconic. I
I
don't know if it's necessarily actually a great puzzle or not, but it is fun, I guess.
All right. Well, for me, I'm putting for my number 5 I'm going to do the Champion's Ballad in Breath of the Wild, which is kind of a lot of puzzles in one, but it's like you follow the clues given by Cass in order to find the secret shrines and do those shrines. And then by doing all those shrines, you unlock
Can you say shrines a couple more times?
shrines. Did that not come through right?
No, you just said shrines a lot in that sentence.
Like, did I say it wrong? What?
No.
What do you mean? My goodness. I've used 99% of my brain power on this puzzle. And I can't like focus on talking at the same time. You solve those puzzles and they unlock a champion ability plus. So it's like Rivali's Gale plus or Urbosa's Fury plus. Mitha's Grace plus and Daruk's Protection plus. I just remembered all of them and then listed all of them back to back. I was only going to give one because I only remembered one.
Yeah, the worst one. You started with the worst one.
That's the best ability.
Rivali?
And don't deny Rivali's Gale. It's
The
like
worst.
the most
The
used
worst,
out of any of
the
those
worst
abilities.
champion.
Yes. You and I both agree on that for sure. Is it hair? It's hair.
I thought you meant real life hair on your puzzle.
Gives your number 4.
Oh, are these supposed to be in order?
I'm just kind of picking mine in order on the fly here.
Perfect. I'm just saying them in random orders.
Okay.
Ocarina of Time, Master Quest. There's a puzzle in the Spirit Temple. That's all I remember. I got stuck on it for a couple months and decided to come back to it later, and then I solved it somehow. I don't even know how. All I remember is it involves one of those blocks that you play the Temple of Time song to, and they like appear and disappear. I think I was supposed to come in and out as young or adult Link and do things in a certain order, and I just happened upon the solution one day on accident. So that was kind of cool.
That is pretty cool. That's pretty cool, I guess. Oh, hey, that worked. My next one is Tears to the Kingdom, the Water Temple entrance. There's like this series of puzzles that you have to do where you have to find the king. And he's hidden in like a secret waterfall area, and then you're like, "Hey, can I get one of your scales?" And then you take his scale, shoot it through a specific spot on an island, and that triggers the entrance to the water temple to open up.
That one was pretty cool.
I liked that. It was like multi-layered, and it felt like old school Zelda in a new game. So yeah, that's definitely one of my top faves.
Yeah, that was a good one. This one's not even really like so much of a puzzle, but it's something that I really enjoyed.
Okay.
In Wind Waker, when you're in one of them dungeons and there's a big like plant-like thing, and you got to use your boomerang to break all of the vines holding it up at once so it falls. That was pretty cool.
I don't
Actually, maybe that one wasn't a. I think that was a boss. I think there was a platform held up by ropes or something that you had to break or something.
I don't remember that.
What? It was awesome. I probably didn't make it up.
Probably didn't. I am so confused as to what I am looking at here with this puzzle piece.
Let me see if I can find it real quick in this video.
Oh.
Because you like do something like you work your way up to the top, and then you do something, knock this thing down.
Then you do something.
Who knows? Certainly not me. This video stops right when they get the boomerang. That's not helpful.
Scale. Okay. I'm going to go with my next one being a puzzle from Phantom Hourglass. You needed to do something where it was like stamp the seal on the map, and in order to do it, you had to close the DS and open it back up.
Yep.
And
That was on my list. That was my next one.
That's your next one? Okay. So both of us had that at our number.
Yeah. And I just love like there's so many comments about it where like I couldn't figure it out and I decided to just take a break. Or someone was like, I needed to conserve my battery, so I just closed it. I was like, I'll come back later.
And then it plays. And you're like, what? What? Yeah, that sounds about right. What am I looking at here? Oh, wait. I know what I'm looking at. Yay! I solved a puzzle. Nothing beats that sound. That sound is one of the greatest sounds ever. Every time I solve anything, I want that sound to play. Oh, makes you feel.
So when you finish this puzzle,
yeah,
next week,
I want that sound effect to play when I finish this puzzle next week.
It's looking so close.
My pieces are getting all jumbly. Understand. What am I looking at here? This piece doesn't exist anywhere. It's Zelda's arm. There's a border. Bro, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. It's your turn.
Is it my turn?
Yeah.
But I just did my favorite one. No, my second favorite one. After yours at the same time.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give mine.
I mean, that's the order we were going in.
I'm going to go Lost Woods, Ocarina of Time. Like figuring out the puzzle of like how to get through the Lost Woods and get to different spots.
It's actually going to make me change my first puzzle because it reminded me of a different one.
Oh, okay. Well, go ahead. That was my answer.
So, honorable mention, Wind Waker. When you get to Hyrule, time's all stopped and stuff, and then you got to move those triangle things into the shape of a platform, or not a platform, into the shape of the Triforce to open up a path
to the Master Sword.
I think so. I'm pretty sure that's what's in there. But yeah, that was pretty cool. But my number one is number one for multiple reasons.
Okay.
Breath of the Wild, getting to the Master Sword through the woods.
Oh, okay.
Lost Force style. Because you're supposed to like get hints from people about following the wind and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's like the intended way to do it. And you feel pretty clever doing it that way. But some people were like, I'm just going to go where the music is extra loud. And they did that.
Me?
And they should feel bad.
Okay, so that was me. I did that. I don't remember. I've already forgotten.
Yeah, I mean, like, I just went really slow. I mean, essentially, like the way you get through the Lost Woods when you like walk up close to it and see if the path opens up or not. And you're like, no, it's still dark. This is the wrong way.
Too many of these pieces are too similar, and they just fit I can't tell. It's getting me worked up, man.
I'm waiting for you're gonna show off the puzzle at the end, and it's just every piece is just in the wrong spot, just jammed in. It just doesn't make any sense.
I don't know if I'm doing this right or not because the blue pieces, there's multiple that are just identically cut. And it's like you can't tell if it's the right one in the right place or not.
Well, if they all fit in, does it matter?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I'm doing it right. And I'm like, I started with the edges and I kept running into that problem where like the blue pieces are too similar. Have you seen those puzzles where it's just they're all the same color?
Yeah, it's all just like clear.
Stupid. That's stupid. That would make me feel very sad. I think I would cry in that scenario. Okay. So you're number one. Is the Ocarina is not the Ocarina of Time. It's the Lost Woods in Breath of the Wild. Well, I have an honorable mention. That is also the Lost Woods in Breath of the Wild, but it's the shrine next to the Deku Tree. And it's the one that you have to solve by looking at the star alignments and then inputting a code.
Yeah.
And that was so
I
difficult.
do remember that one. I like that puzzle, actually.
It was so like difficult to figure out what it was asking. And then to like
that was a good one though, because like it wasn't like I can just spam my
right. No,
breaking abilities.
You needed to actually try to get that one.
Yeah, that was a good one.
So honorable mention to that one. But my number one is going to be the mirror dungeon in Wind Waker, specifically.
Nice.
The like lights.
I wanted to like mention that, but I couldn't think of like any specific puzzles per se from that. But
I'm just gonna say the whole dungeon.
That.
It's just like really
I can respect that.
They've done it multiple times too. Right? Where it's been oh my goodness, I just have too many pieces in here. So the proportions of Zelda's head versus the rest of the stuff in here, it's like I don't know if this is right. Hopefully it is.
So what were you saying about how Wind Waker was like the best Zelda game?
That it has the best mirror dungeon that I can recall. They have it in I wanted to say Kingdom Hearts. I swear this puzzle is executing my brain cells. Rapidly declining in my ability to talk. Tears of the Kingdom, they have a very similar dungeon, but I just feel like Wind Waker, it was a little bit more you couldn't spam it. Like,
yeah. Because you just like grab mirrors out of your inventory if you want and whatnot.
Yeah, Tears of the Kingdom, it was just a little too easy to just do whatever and fix and bada bing, bada boom, it's working.
Yeah.
Yep. And that is our top 5 Zelda puzzles while doing puzzles. Micah, I think that's an end of this episode. I did not finish my puzzle, but maybe I'll finish it in Pals Plus.
Maybe.
But probably not, because I actually want to
happen.
Pals Plus. So let's put a wrap on this episode here. Micah, where can people find the show?
That's a good question. On the internet, of course. Like YouTube or Spotify or Patreon or Anchor or Apple Podcasts or somewhere else.
That was No, that I think you hit. I think you hit all of the.
I feel like I hit a pretty good portion of them, more than I was expecting to hit when I started.
I really am proud. I'm proud of you. You know, good job. You did it.
Thank you.
And you can find myself and Micah. Each of us do streams on Twitch. Micah more occasionally than me. I'm streaming every week on Twitch, multiple times a week, and that's twitch.tv/Andros1. And I have a YouTube channel and a TikTok channel and an Instagram account and a bunch of spots. And I'm on Twitter, and I'm posting to all those platforms, and they're all different things that fit those platforms. So if you are interested in seeing a plethora of Andros1 content, follow me on all socials. Links are in the description for all this stuff. And also a huge shout out and thank you to Roger Pollard, who made our intro music and our logo. If you want to check out more of his work, it's also in the description. Links to his website. With that, Micah, close this out here with some wise words of wisdom.
You mean wise words of wisdom that I come up with myself?
Of course. I've never questioned otherwise.
That I've already thought about? Oh, I just thought of one that is so deep. The meaning might be beyond some people. If you find a building without rats, then you know that something more dangerous scared them away.
That's kind of terrifying.
It's pretty good, huh?
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. All right. Peace out, y'all.